All right, hello everybody. This is Josh, also known as Yashu, and you're tuning in to episode 16 of the TLOY Talks podcast. And today, we have a returning member back, who's back with a new band, Ethan, formerly of the Boogie Boards, now with American Death Cult, along with other members, Demarion and Carter. How are you guys doing today?
We're good. How about you?
Doing all right, guys.
Doing pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, I've been tuning into like a couple of the songs right now, and I kind of like the process of how like those songs are going. So more about American Death Cult. They're a band out of Greensboro, North Carolina, and they make a lot of unique music in that sense too. They'll be having an upcoming album soon called Skinwalker. You definitely have to check that out. So like when it like gets released. So
yeah.
Hell yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Most definitely. So I want to talk more about the band right now. So like, how did you guys like meet and form this band by any chance?
Okay, so I'll go.
Christian Mingle. No, that's not how we met.
No, it's farmers only.
Yeah.
Exclusively
How do we
farmers only.
guys?
So I met Carter. I think it was we were just talking online.
You I don't know if I did or you did. I think I did. I had an ad on Craigslist, and we happened to know a few of the same people. So luckily he wasn't a stalker or anything or some crazy person, because
For now,
mostly when I put that ad up, I got got messages from old men trying to sleep with me. So luckily he wasn't one of those. So he was a
yeah,
younger man trying
because
to
like
sleep
me
with
and
me.
Carter, we talked like on and off for a while, but we just got like busy with like our like work and social life, so we kind of like kept in touch, but like nothing so deep. And then one day I was like, you know what? If I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna need a bass player. And Carter was the first person I thought of. Actually, that's a lie. He was the second.
Damn.
But
Damn.
and we met Mario or Demarion D, whatever. Um, because we had a drummer, and long story short, there's something popped up, and he couldn't drum with us anymore. So I hit up my boy Bobby from the legendary group known as Monkey Mode.
Monkey mode.
And he suggested Demarion, like even before Demarion had a chance to say yes or no. We kind of just snatched him up on the street one day.
That's pretty accurate. I got a random call and like, you want to join my band?
Yeah,
Like,
we talked for like 20 minutes about like just random food and
Taco Bell.
And we were like, yeah, why not? Let's try it. And now here we are.
Yep.
Yeah, most definitely. And for even, I know like it's a different transition right now because you were in another band before too in the past too. So what made you decide on transitioning from that previous band to this band now?
That's a good question. I feel like a lot of people have that question. So before we were American Death Cult, this is an exclusive. I changed the name like 5, 6 times, and because I wasn't happy with the band names. They're either too specific or not specific enough, or they just didn't have like a story or meaning behind it, so I didn't really like it. Um, excuse me. We Why I decided to go with American Death Cult was is like more of a broader term in a sense, but yet also it sounds metal, it sounds punk in a sense, like has that youthful, rebellious energy in a sense. And I got it from one of my favorite bands for a little bit was like called Teen Suicide. And I was like, I can't name my band that because my mom would be very sad. So they changed their name to American Pleasure Club. So I was like, pleasure, okay, opposites, pain, I death, uh, club, like a cult, it's like a club in a way, just like playing little word games in my head. And it also comes from let's say panic movement in like the 70s and 80s. Because like in that time period, especially like, Christian moms were very up in arms about like uh Kiss, groups like that, like Knights of Satan service. And I thought, you know what, that was extremely funny. I'm gonna mock that.
Yeah.
That's what it means to me, at least. I could be wrong. Like Carter could have a whole nother opinion on it. So
Well, for me, the name was just something I liked. Honestly, I don't think I have a whole deep story or like meaning behind it. Like Ethan does. To me, it just sounds nice, and it's what we went with. So that's kind of where I stand, I guess.
I had some mothers. Mexican pity party was an option. An Australian board of death and destruction. That one goes a little too hard. The world's not ready for
It's too
that.
long.
But the other one was Canadian Fun Club, and that one sounded lame. Sounds like a secret organization of like uh creeps.
Yeah. No, most definitely. And I know also too with the uniqueness of certain bands, they usually have it like within like a unique form of music or subject matter or like everything else too. So with American Death Cult, what makes like that band like unique in that sense too, that's different from like other bands?
I'm gonna let Mario take this one because this is a serious question.
I feel like with most other bands, like like well, for people in music in general, they're in it for mostly wrong reasons. Like the wrong reasons outweigh the just love for music and just wanting to play and perform, having fun with it. With us, like as long as we're having fun, like we're gonna keep doing it. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
Definitely.
And another reason, oh sorry.
Oh no, I just said definitely. I didn't
Yeah.
have a real thing to
Another
say.
reason we decided to do this was to poison the youth of America.
Yeah, for sure.
He
Pretty
poisoned
much.
yesterday.
We poisoned so many youths. It's insane right now. Gosh, it's wild.
What?
yeah.
Not like that, but
Yeah, no, I definitely know what you mean. And like since this is like your first time, so Demarion and Carter, tell me more about like your story on like your upbringing and all that, and like how you guys like both got into like music in that sense too, and what made you decide on becoming like rock artists in that sense.
Demarion, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. All right. So I'm 17. I turned 18 in August. But I was born in Michigan, moved to North Carolina when I was 3. And like I kind of started playing drums around the age of 2. I feel like that's the universal age for drummers. But started playing around 2. And I got into rock music around like 8 or 9. And it's just kind of been my, I guess you say, most common genre that I enjoy playing out of them all, because I do play them all. But yeah, rock is just kind of like, I like you here. So kind of stuck.
And for me, I guess, I've probably been playing bass on and off since I was about 9 years old. I've probably had an interest in music in general since I was about probably as long as I can remember, but probably 6 or 7 was when I really started thinking I wanted to play music. So I've always been into rock music. I've always been into like harder rock, like different things like that. But then for me, I guess the the first time I was really like, this is something I can do, and like as maybe a career path, was when I was 18 and I was in this band called West Haven. They don't exist anymore, I don't think, but they did sort of more alternative poppy kind of music, and then I got into this probably 6 months ago, give or take. So, and that was more punk oriented, and that was good for me, I think, because that's kind of more what I gravitated towards, especially in my when I started in my 20s. I'm 22 now, so that's probably what I've been more into the past couple of years.
Yeah. And just to kind of build off of like the moment I decided I wanted to like play forever is kind of, I think, when I was like 11, but like when it really hit, my first band concert in high school, just like hearing that gave me such like a great feeling. Like that's what I want forever.
Agreed.
Yeah, most definitely. And it's like as far as like influences go, like which artists like were you mainly like influenced by like at that time to be within like that whole musical process?
For me, I think, God, I'm all over the place. Music in general, probably the biggest people I think who influenced me are probably, it's a little bit everywhere. I really like the Dead Kennedys. I'm a big fan of Black Sabbath and Ozzy Osbourne. Those are two of my favorite artists. And then I guess as far as, genres that aren't like more rock oriented, I'm a big Prince fan. That was my first concert I ever went to, was Prince. So, different. I'm all over the place with what influences me. But as far as bass specifically, I guess probably my biggest influence would probably be Sting, I guess, from the Police. If there was anybody who I'd say I'd try to play like, I always admired how he played, and I always admired just the way he played and how he approached bass. So that was probably my biggest influence.
Drum influences for me, based on like how I play now, it took me a couple years to like cultivate, but like it's a mix between Dave Grohl and that punchy, hard hitting, just all around everywhere, that Josh Dunn energy behind the kit, and probably like I gotta think back on this one. Just probably like having that drumline precision like in me, because I was also on my drumline. So like all of that together, just kind of what I do.
And then especially for me as well, kind of like I tend to add a lot. Like I try not to play super simple bass lines. I try to add things to them when I can. So definitely different funk bassists like Bootsy Collins and people like that. I think I try to add a little something every time I play. At least I like to. So that's definitely an influence for me as well.
Yeah, I build off of that. Like being a jazz drummer, like improvisation is just kind of my go-to. Like nothing is ever the same twice. Like if you listen to the recent recordings on Bandcamp versus what's on the upcoming album, you'll definitely hear that I don't play the same thing twice ever.
Yeah, no, most definitely. And getting back into the music right now, you have 2 releases at the moment, So Drained and Me and My Friends. So tell me, what were like the creative processes and inspirations like for those songs?
Well, So Drained is like an older song, and to me, it's like one, if not one of, is the most personal songs I've ever written. Excuse me. Excuse me. Uh, it was really about like the hard times I was going on, like mentally, because like at the time I was writing this, I there was some job issues, there were some health issues, there were some family issues, and I didn't know where else to go. And it's in the song too. One of the lyrics is, "I don't know where to go." I didn't know what like how to get myself. It was like being dropped into the middle of a cornfield. Like, what do you do now? Type situation. No, that's a weird metaphor, but that's just how it felt. Um, and me and my friends, we just like one day at practice, we were like bored and we ripped off Cooler Than Me by my poster, and that's the song.
I don't know how much of a ripoff it is. I've never heard this original song. I haven't heard a song that sounds like that one. Like I said, I could be wrong, but
Wait, hold on. You don't know Cooler Than Me by Mike Posner?
nope.
If I could write you a song to make you fall in love, I would already have you under my arms.
I
I
have,
Never
used
heard
all
it.
my tricks,
Never heard it. I don't know him. I don't know him.
bro, bro.
I
You
think I
could
heard
walk
that.
in my room right now and I wouldn't know who he is.
Well, that's no one knows what my poster looks like unless you're like hardcore into music. Like I don't know what my poster looks like. He just looks like a normal like college frat white guy,
Well,
or he
Yeah.
used to. I mean, I'm not. He has some other songs.
Yeah. Like I know with Mike Posner, I know he was like very like well known back then, and even now. I mean, back in like 2015, he had like one of the most like well known songs, "I Took a Pill in Ibiza," which
That's a
was
great
only
song.
popular because of like the remix and all that. So I think he did actually like come like a long way like musically in that sense too, like finding the right connections, and then he actually used to do like a lot of like features for like a lot of like rap artists and all that too. So it's interesting to see his growth from performing at like Vans events to like working with like rappers and other artists to even having like EDM based like remixes on his like own
Did
song. So
a he did. I'm sorry to cut you off. He did a lot of ghost writing and just writing for other artists, and it was like part of it is lyrics, some of it was music. It depends on the song, of course. But I respect a good pop songwriter as long as the song actually has a meaning to it and it got a nice melody. I don't care what genre it is. But me and my friends' lyrics are just it's the same lyric,
yeah,
but a little different, situation.
yeah. No, I definitely know what you mean too. And especially for the songs, I think they're supposed to be on the project coming up. So as far as like the upcoming project goes, what's like the creative process and inspiration for Skinwalker?
That's a great question.
it's I'll say this while he's thinking. I think that this was and something that I at least admire. Obviously, it's not out yet, so I can't speak too much on it. But something I admire about what I've heard so far is that it's very collaborative between all of us. I think we all, if we want to change something, it's a very democratic process. And I've definitely been in bands where that wasn't the case. So I think that's something I at least admire about, if not our band as a whole, then at least about this album, because I think that we all had some input on at least some part of it. And I think that hopefully will shine through as you listen to it.
Yeah, like I've been in the band for like 3 weeks, 2 practices, 1 recording session, literally. But like for the amount of say I have had in these songs, like it's insane. And I think like that words collaborative nature is kind of what makes this band keep going.
Definitely.
Um, before when we were the Boogie Boards, when I was in the Boogie Boards, I did everything pretty much besides drumming because I can't play drums. I don't know how to write drum parts. So I let the drummer have like full creative control. But when it came to lyrics and melody, I didn't get like I don't know if I didn't ask for help or they like lyrics weren't their cup of tea, so they didn't know how to help. But like now with these guys, like yeah, I talk to Mario all the time, like, hey, can you help me with the lyrics for this song? He's like, yeah. And there's this one song uh on the album where I would like do a sound effects with my mouth, like on my Pia, and Carter decided, I'm gonna play that on bass instead to make it sound a little more, high value production wise. And I after that, like he understood, and we just do that all the time now, and it's one of my favorite parts of the whole song.
Yeah, definitely. I know like even with the name too, Skinwalker, it has like a unique twist to it because it kind of reminds me of like, other songs, within like that similar context too. So tell me more about that name for that project and like the meaning like around it.
That's a very personal question, but I'll try to break it down
What
as
do you
much as
mean
I
it's a
can.
personal question?
Well, if you let me talk, you'll understand.
Yeah, please help me because I'm very confused how Skinwalker
So,
could be personal to you.
in Native American or Navajo culture, a skinwalker is a witch that can shapeshift into animals. Now, that term is only used for people that are meant to cause harm. So, if it can't be used for like a doctor, that's like, 'cause doctors, what do doctors do? They heal people, so it can't be used for terms like that. And to me, all these songs are about healing in a way. Like the very first song on the album is about recovering from like anxiety around like a breakup, and the second song is literally me saying I don't know what to do without this person, and it's like my well, in the sense of the song, it's like not like a significant other, but it's just I'm trying not to spoil so much, but I'm trying to give you something. So the whole album to me is like about healing because I wrote these songs within like the last 2 years, and I'm gonna be honest with you. One, I was died in those 2 years, so these songs' meanings have changed for me personally, like before that experience and after. So, like how I look at my songwriting is different now. It's like there was this one song, and it was about like, oh, this song is just about like, wanting to party, and now it's about wanting to do something with my life and be remembered because I don't know if I'm going to live tomorrow. And the last song went from being like a breakup song to being like much more than just a breakup song. It's now about like watching two people's trust and faith in one another decay and how it affected me. And
Well,
you
consider
can
me shocked because I just thought you picked Skinwalker because you thought it sounded cool.
it does
So I
sound cool
apologize.
too.
I knew it. I knew it. I
It does
knew it.
sound
I knew
cool.
that's why you picked it. Trying to come up with a big explanation. I knew why you
But it
picked it.
is a big explanation because like to me, like it all ties back to my childhood because like there's a show called Lost Tapes that used to be on Animal Planet. Nobody remembers the show besides me apparently. And one of the episodes was about skinwalkers. And it was about like this family. It was like found footage about this family on this like ranch. And there's like a skinwalker there that's like eating cheap and hitting on women, not in a fun way. Uh, and I was like, that's kind of a spooky idea. But part of me chose Skinwalker just because it sounds cool, and I didn't want to be like, oh yeah, self-titled debut, baby, just like the rest. Part of me wanted to give it a name with like some meaning behind it that ties into the songs. And they think that's what we did, because like Skinwalker is, you know, it to me it's an animal in a sense. Like some of these songs are like animalistic, like especially like the music side of things, because there's a couple of songs that are just stop making that face, okay? I can see you.
Wait, who are you talking to? Because he was making a face too.
I see both y'all.
Oh, I didn't say a word. Keep going.
But some of the songs are more like animalistic in nature, and like not the lyrics per se, but the instrumentation. You know, this album's like the right amount of rawness and intensity. Because before, I never really knew how to mix or balance those two things. So it was just like pure lo-fi noise, which I like lo-fi music, but that wasn't the sound I was going for, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And this is the sound that's been in my head for 2 years. Like this is the sound of my mental breakdowns and every time I ever cried, pretty much.
Yeah.
And he cries a lot, so it's,
Yeah, I cry a lot.
yeah.
Intensity is a good way to break down this album in one word. Like my fucking hands hurt, bro.
It was blisters on his fingers.
There's some blisters.
I got blisters on me fingers.
Yeah.
Like
No,
we can talk about the studio session another time, maybe when the album's out, so we can go more into it with the specifics. But
Yeah.
It was one day in the studio, and we did it all, or most of it.
One long day.
It was a long day.
It was a long day.
But
let me tell you, I came home and went the fuck to sleep.
It was worth it though, because
it was like 11 to 7.
We all like brought our A game, and I told them before we got started that we're gonna make something out of nothing. And to me, that's what art is. What?
I said, and we did.
Definitely.
And we did. We got a couple songs down. I'm not gonna say how many, because anything
They're
can
punk
change.
songs, so the album's only going to be like 20 minutes.
Yeah, the album's gonna be short.
Yeah.
But I don't, because like the thing is, like the track list could change, some of the order can change. It's just what we want and what we think will sound best, because we're doing this as a collaborative now, and now we're signed to a studio, so we gotta let them give some input too, or we're signed to a label, so they have to have a little bit of input. That's so take the village, you know.
Definitely.
For real.
Yeah, no, most definitely. So like you pretty much have like some of the expectations like lined up. It might be sure there might be a change within track listings and just even with the idea of healing. But are there like other like expectations that the fans might expect for this project?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Well, I would hope that all 6 of our fans would expect there probably to be a higher production value, if that makes sense. Probably a bit more professional sounding, probably a bit not cleaner necessarily, but a bit more high audio quality. And I think that, and I, from what I understand so far, that it's definitely delivered on that. You know, we went from recording on what essentially just an iPhone
in this room,
in that very room, to, you know, having a real studio with, you know, the things hooked up and it's going into a master board and all that. So, you know, I would hope that they would assume, and like I said, we do deliver on it, that the audio quality and that it's got a bit more production value behind it. And like I said, I would like to think that we delivered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, most definitely. As far as like everything else right now, I know like right now we're sort of like in a post-pandemic phase right now, and I think performing is like as much crazier than ever. Like I know some people performed like while the pandemic happened, but I think now it's more rampant than ever. Like I think with you guys, it's more so the garage shows coming up every other time, maybe like a live show here and there too. But even in other cases too. So for everyone on here, how is it like performing sort of in a post-pandemic, and what did you guys like miss about performing when you were unable to perform live in that sense during the pandemic?
I can only speak for myself, but I only started this project and I only really took music seriously last year. So all I know is this weird middle stage of a slow burning virus. I mean, I hear stories all the time from like my relatives that play music and people that are in bands, but I have no personal idea what that was like to play in anything else but these terms and conditions.
Um, well, I think that as somebody who has done both of it, has performed now pre-COVID and post-COVID, I would say something I missed about it was the money. No, besides the money, was definitely the just the energy that you get from the crowd performing live and the people you see, and it's nice having like your family and people come out and all that. So I think that that's something that I definitely missed.
Yeah. No, because I know with garage shows, like it could be like packed as ever, even like blocking like the driveway in that sense too, or it could even be like something like way different, like those like 10 fans like just like waiting in, finding out like what happens, and then that band like goes and they're all in that sense too. And it's kind of unique to see too. I mean, even in smaller venues, like even in bars or in like Chuck E. Cheese and all that, it can kind of get like interesting with like that local band like performing like maybe like 5 of their songs and all that. So
There are bands that perform in Chuck E. Cheese's.
who knows? I think maybe, I think it might have happened at like one point in life,
I would love to do that. That would be amazing.
You say that now, and then you do it. And
Why have you done it?
I
no,
have worked like I wanted to be a teacher, and I had to do go to school and like basically teach children. I don't want to do that, Chief.
I Not in a creepy way, but I love kids, so I'm fine with that.
I saw Willy's Wonderland. I want to stay away from a Chuck E. Cheese.
nah, I mean, I know they still have like that whole like mystery about the pizza, if it's actually like good or not, or if it's like actually like round. So
Oh, you're talking about like the slices?
yeah.
Oh yeah, they said they take slices from like well, not only different pizzas, but like they'll get different slices from different places, and then they put it in one whole pizza, and then they basically just sell that as a whole pizza. But then I heard like that it got debunked because like people who worked there figured, like people who worked there basically said, yeah, it's not true.
Yeah.
How much
But
do you
of
think
course
you
they
paid?
would say that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think that could be like said the same for like other foods and all that. So like in that sense
Yeah,
too, who knows?
We as a band only trust Taco Bell.
that's true. That is our place. I like Chipotle myself. My old band was a Chipotle band. That's where we went after every practice. And I do Chipotle still holds a special place in my heart and my stomach. But Taco Bell's a lot cheaper, and you can get a lot at Taco Bell for pretty cheap. So
Like,
uh,
have you tried the new Gordita Crunch?
I haven't.
I was asking Josh. Do they have Taco
Oh,
Bells in Canada?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, I think they have it here and there for a while. So you'll try like they'll either have it like in the main menu, like either like for the number board, or like it'll be like a special date where they have it for like a little limited time only. So but yeah, like we have like supreme fries too, which we've had that like for many years, but like I know in the States like they just started getting like fries more recently now. So
Yeah.
yeah.
This is
world.
the heart of the interview right here.
Yeah, but even so too, like, what are your go-to combos for Taco Bell? Like, what do you get like whenever you come pop by and all that?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Ethan's he gets the same thing every time. I mix it up. I order different things. I
I don't
usually
get the
get.
same thing every time.
Yes, you did, because when there used to be the grilled cheese
Oh yeah, but
thing,
that
you
was
would get
different. The grilled cheese burrito was amazing. Okay,
it. It was, but I don't get it anymore because I
that's
don't have
because it's
it.
not on the menu anymore. It was limited time.
They need to bring back the quesaritos. That's kind of our
They did.
motive as a group, is that to try to make sure that they bring back. That's our
It's
big
ironic.
message. That's our big message, is that to bring back quesaritos, and that's kind of our mission with our music.
We want to promote '90s Taco Bell aesthetic as much as we can.
Yeah.
If we can play on a '90s Taco
Did they
Bell,
have quesaritos in the 90s? I think that's a new thing.
you remember the Danish Grand Slam? We want to do that, but on a Taco Bell.
Yeah. I think
Oh, that video. What the fuck is up in it? Yeah, I know that video.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah. I think like even in the 90s too, like a lot of like PepsiCo type products were like very good back then. Like, it had like a different feeling. I know Pizza Hut, like people still crave about like pizza from the 90s from there, and then KFC too. So but
Yeah.
now it's kind of like more like manufactured and more like out of taste. So you don't know like what you're tasting nowadays and all that.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of that and everything, like the nostalgia of it. Like, you remember things when you were a kid, everything was so great and that's so
Yeah.
awesome, and now everything sucks. So I think it's probably a mixture of that. I'm sure it is more manufactured, but I think it's a mixture of that and people remember things being better than they probably were.
I mean, like I like a good Crunchwrap Supreme every now and then. I like a good chicken quesadilla. I gotta get the cinnamon twist. Have you ever had those?
Yeah, the cinnamon twist, like for me, I really don't like them as much. I prefer like, because like we have this like thing called like the cinnamon buns and all that, like the small like
Oh
ones.
yeah, yeah,
The
yeah,
Little
yeah.
filling, like
balls.
I think those are more goated than the twists, I think
Oh, for sure.
yeah.
That's a bold statement to make.
I agree with that. I completely agree. Those are way better than the cinnamon twist.
But McDonald, like Taco Bell's like breakfast menu is all right.
Yeah. I think
I've eaten a
surprisingly,
lot of Taco Bell, never had breakfast.
Yeah.
I think surprisingly for me, we don't have like a Taco Bell breakfast nowadays too, because they
Wow.
open like at 12, so you're only getting the lunch menu and like that's it. So
One of the hits.
yeah. All right. So getting back into part two, right? Part two, right now, we just finished part one. How do you guys feel about like the current state of like music right now? Do you feel that it's better than ever right now, or do you notice like if there's like any issues going on?
That's a hard
Well,
question, and we're not the right
that's a
people to
very rough
answer
question.
that question.
Well, I'm gonna try to answer it.
Okay.
I'm a little biased because I think my favorite decade for music is probably the 80s or the 90s. So I'm always gonna think that was like, oh, that was better because all these great songs come out. But I guess the only problem I would have with like today's music industry is I think it's hard for artists that aren't hip hop or pop in general, just hip hop or pop, I think does kind of dominate everything. And I think it's kind of hard for new rock groups or new alternative groups or new whatever groups to kind of become ultra popular. Like, I don't think that a lot of bands that people love, like I think a lot of bands like classic rock bands and stuff like that, I think if they were out now, I think people probably wouldn't care, because I think the market is so shifted towards pop and hip hop and rap that it might not happen. And that's not to say that there's not quality music in hop and hip hop and rap, but that's just to say that it's gravitated towards that.
Yeah. Honestly, with me, like I do notice that there is like some truth to that sometimes. Like I know with Glass Animals, they were like very popular like in 2013, 2014, more indie, but they didn't recently get popular until now with heat wave. So like, and it was only popular because of TikTok and the amount of music presence like around it too. Especially, there's like other ones with like, you know, strong fan bases too, with Greta Van Fleet and unfortunately Machine Gun Kelly, who is sort of a band now, but
We don't talk
yeah,
about him.
yeah.
I will go on record saying I hate Machine Gun Kelly. Machine Gun Kelly, if there's a chance you are watching this, I can't stand you. I cannot stand Machine Gun Kelly. He is the worst. But anyway, continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah, because I think in some cases too, like they're allowing artists like within those like niche sounds like rap and R&B to and even pop too to even make like rock hits. So it's more so to replace like that whole pop punk sound, and you know, bringing like certain like features to it, like, you know, having like Avril Lavigne feature on song too. So like I
Yeah.
do notice that, you know, rock is sort of being replaced by like pop artists trying to mimic pop punk too. So, and that's kind of like a weird feeling too. And then also, you know, for bands only needing like one hit only because of TikTok and all that. And we could see that with Glass Animals, Greta Van Fleet, all these other people too. So
Um, I agree with some of what you said, but also in a sense, like punk and pop punk haven't gone anywhere. They just are like, hiding under the covers real quick, maybe taking a snooze. Not even that, because like there's still so many like good pop punk bands and punk bands coming out right now. Like one of my favorite bands is Mom Jeans. I hate saying that with a straight face because their name is stupid. You got like Neck Deep. You got the Turnover's not really a punk band anymore. They haven't been a punk band in a long time.
yeah,
Well, there's like a lot of like Joyce Manor.
yeah.
I know this is like leaning towards like more of the old school like 2000s emo side, but you got like just thinking of some other bands.
I know Pup's like pretty popular nowadays too. I think
Yes,
they're one of the more unique bands right now too. I mean, Taking Back Sunday, like
Jack
they've always
White.
been, yeah. Uh, I know Green Day, like they did try to make a comeback with that whole like political album back in like 2016, 2017. I think
Yeah,
it did sort of make a buzz, but like not as like crazy and all that. But
that that album's okay. Like Revolution Radio is okay. It's not their best, but it's not as bad as people say it is, in my opinion.
but no, like
Um, what were you gonna say? My bad.
but no, it's sort of like I think it's kind of we're kind of like in a weird mix right now where I think, you know, music has to only be popular because of like TikTok right now, like, you know, because the whole like second situation with attention spans and all that, and that's where, you know, creativity like becomes an issue too. Like even like some artists who even are creative, you know, like they don't want to make music for TikTok anymore, you know, like they already have like a strong fan base to even make more unique songs like even better. But I think because of TikTok's like, you know, most like rising popularity since the start of the pandemic and all that, I think, you know, that's where like labels and like even indie labels are trying to go at like right now to get that hit, to get people to tune in, and it's life right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like to talk too much smack about the music industry because, I
You're
don't
trying
want
to
to
get in it.
try to, sneak my way in there.
Yeah.
But, and also, like, music hasn't been around as long as people thought it has been. Because, like, the radio was only got popular in, like, what, the 20s, 30s?
Yeah.
So, like, when people say, like, oh, this is the greatest band of all time. No, it's like the greatest band maybe like a century.
Yeah.
Well, unless you're talking about Queen, of course, in which case they are the best band of all time.
I mean, no, because like recorded band wise and like written down wise, there's all this like, and you have to think about how much music is lost over time too. And it's crazy to think about all these bands that could have been big or should have been big, but yet they got like forgotten or passed up. or like, kind of like with Elvis. He covered so many bands, and those bands never got as popular, even though they wrote the songs. They played it first, and maybe even better.
Yeah. Nah, most definitely. And as far as like music goes, I know like there is like real life experiences within like those songs and within like the stories in that sense too. So like for all of you, how important is it to incorporate like real life experiences and serious like subject matters into your music in that sense?
It depends on the song.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I also am not a very prolific lyric writer. That's more Ethan's department than mine, as far as this band is concerned. So I wouldn't say that I do that. But as far as making the lyrics relatable and speak to you, I would say, generally speaking, that that's important. Yes.
I feel like when it comes to lyrics, you should always have someone like secondhand checking over them just to make sure they flow, there's no grammatical errors, you're not saying anything that you're gonna regret. Cause like there's some artists out there, I'm not gonna name any names, but they're big artists. They say something and grammatically it's wrong, or it's just a bad line that they are gonna regret in a few years. I know everyone can like at least think of something like that.
I can't. Would you care to give an example?
Okay, I'll give an example. Lil Yachty when he said, "I'm gonna shoot this bitch up like Columbine."
I probably shouldn't say that.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't say that. Also, Columbine was a suicide too, so you're gonna kill yourself, Lil Yachty.
Yeah, it's
I
funny,
mean,
but he shouldn't have
yeah.
said it.
It is funny, but not in this climate. No.
I feel like as writing lyrics, you should have a story. So have that story that you want to tell, and then like kind of write it down and make it your song. Like whether it's a real story, and if it is, then that means it's extra close to you, and you want to explain it as deep as you possibly can, or like just something you created just so someone doesn't feel alone. Like just having that mindset in writing is kind of what makes a song speak to a person.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree too. I think, it's connectivity in that sense too, because I feel like when you have like lyrics that do connect with certain people based on like situations and based on like the emotions at that time too, like, a song can make you cry like depending on how deep like the lyrics are. So if it could be like if I make a song, more so on, writing in that sense too, like if I write like, if it's like on the subjective format of writing, but I treat it like, it's like a long-lived sport and all that. I feel like it can connect with others, like, with how they feel about something else too, like that they can relate, like, like some like a hobby or like even like a sport that they play and all that. So
In a sense, you gotta treat music like you're giving a monologue. Because some songs to me are monologues. Some songs are just quips and bad quotes.
yeah.
Um, it all depends on the song, of course. All depends on like because you don't want to be given the greatest lyrics of all time and have the beat sound like a clown circus show. But you don't also want to like give like the greatest bars about how much of like a nonstop party you are over Marvin's room.
Yeah.
Unless
No,
that's
We're
what you
in
want. I
Marvin's
don't know.
room.
If that makes sense.
yeah, no, most definitely. Like even in that situation too, do you feel like even like do you feel like even like having like these experiences too, like gaining like real life experiences and then going through like various moments in life is something that they like the fans enjoy more rather than like a general like story in that sense?
I think every song, I mean, it's cliche to say this, but every song is a story in a sense. Like me and my friends, those lyrics is just one lyric. Me and my friends are going out tonight. Woohoo. I feel like the music tells more of a story than the lyrics do because, like, you listen to that song, you know, it's like building up, going, like, oh, it's party time. And then it slows down, like, oh, this is time I gotta sober up, you know, I gotta take a water break. Then it goes right back into, oh, party time. And with So Drained, it's telling us like telling a story musically with like the how repetitive the like guitar part is, and then he's listening to what the lyrics are saying about like life's a short ride and all this, and it just like complements each other, you know, like food in a sense. And then the distortion kicks in at the end, and the yelling kicks in, and that's when the breakdown fully starts.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah, no, most definitely.
You have anything to add about that, or in your all's opinion, or
like what you said with the repetitive guitar parts, like in So Drained, like it kind of gives the illusion of life being a cycle that is tired, like that tiring cycle, and you're just like at the end of your wit and you don't know what to do. And then when you get towards the end and the distortions in and even you're yelling, it's just like that last hoorah before the pain stops.
yeah.
Yeah, I really think you know, Rascal Flatts said it best in saying that life is a highway. I want to ride it all night long, and I think, you know, that album really captures this.
And I hear like people
And
say
Ethan was
like,
definitely going for that.
yeah, so I'm a sucker for the Cars soundtrack. Um, I heard like I they recently came to me like some people could interpret like the yelling because like I wrote a couple songs about my work, about working, just like, you know, traditional service industry job. Like I wrote Wrong Coast while I was working at a grocery store. I wrote So Drained back in my head while I was working one time. So you can think of it as like So Drained is building up, like the days are blending into each other, and the yelling part is so after your job, your crummy job, you get into your car and you just scream at the radio.
Yeah. No, I definitely like agree in that sense too. I mean, I do feel like some songs like they kind of base it more on that idea of the American dream too, and you know, getting what you get, and it gets like repetitive like all the time. Like one example, Billionaire with Travis McCoy and Bruno Mars. You know, like hey, I want to be a billionaire, like so freaking bad and all that. You know, it's like the idea that you need money to be happy in that sense
Yeah.
too, but in that sense, you know, money can only cause like certain problems like depending on the situation. It's not like how it was like in the 80s and 90s where you know you could like live fast like with the money you can. Like others it's like more so like a risk now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the Notorious B.I.G. said that best, along with P. Diddy, when he said, "Mo money, mo problems."
Yeah.
We have a very wide variety of musical influences.
Yeah,
Most definitely.
Yes.
And I definitely know what you mean. And you know, even with like musical influences too, like there's also like television and movie like influences too. So this is like more of a lighthearted question, but what are your favorite movies and TV shows?
Ooh.
Well, me and Carter did bond over Star Wars
And Seinfeld.
and Seinfeld, and you know, just normal me movies, I guess, like Shrek. You got B movie,
You like jazz, Mr.
like
Cole?
jazz. But like my my taste in movies kind of shows with like the titles because like Arawak comes from Sleepaway Camp, which is a 80s slasher movie. Um, Blood Diner is named after a movie in the 80s, campy horror movie. Um, The Bay, based on a found footage movie. Uh, Texas Chainsaw. You can figure out where that one comes from.
Yeah.
Uh, Trying to think of any other like movie titles that I'm forgetting on the top of my head that I reference. I mean, there's some like unreleased secret songs, but I don't want to get too ahead of myself.
Yeah. Nah, most
So
definitely.
yeah, classic slasher movies, 80s slasher movies, even like some 2000s helped me a long way in my healing process.
Yeah.
Because if therapy can't fix your problems, thanks killing can,
I
or
was
it'll
gonna
make it worse.
but yeah, okay, that works.
Have you seen Thanks Killing? Terrible movie. Don't watch it.
Yeah. I know this guy that I recently interviewed a while back too. He's also from North Carolina by ways of Vermont too. So he told me that his first band that he had, he named after the actual movie called Mars Attacks and all that. I don't know if you like saw that movie.
Can you say it
Hmm.
again?
I had a friend who's from North Carolina by ways of like Vermont. His first band that he had, he named it after like a movie called like Mars Attacks, like in the 1990s. It's
Oh yeah, the Tim Burton movie.
yeah, yeah. Did you guys ever watch that by any chance?
No,
I've
I know, but it sounds interesting. I like anything Tim Burton.
I think I have seen it in passing, but that's not even close to like top five Tim Burton for me. It's a good movie though. You should
Yeah,
check it out.
yeah. Yeah, I recently have it on the whole like YouTube movies thing, so I'll probably have to check that out too. I also saw like this other movie called Bliss. I definitely recommend it. One of the actresses who's also like on Chicago Fire was in that movie. It's more so about a creative like going through like a lot of like issues in her life, trying to create the best artwork, and then she found her influence from one of her best friends biting someone to death and then like sucking off the blood in that sense.
I'll check it out.
Yeah,
Wow.
most
Is it
definitely.
based on like a true story or?
It's a creative movie. Like it's from 2019 and all that. But it's actually a pretty good movie. I'll probably like recommend that to the viewers right here, like once it's released. So
All right.
yeah. But yeah, as far as like everything else right now, so what do you guys have coming up?
We have a show on the 20th at Common Grounds in Greensboro, and we have a special announcement to make about the album.
Yeah.
It's
God, what
a
is
big
this?
one.
Potential
Announce it.
month?
What'd you say?
What'd you say is like 3 or 4 potential shows next month?
We have 3 or 4% shows next month. More about that will come out
Yeah.
whenever, but by the time I'm not sure when this video is going up, so those shows might have already happened. Some of them, all of them, who knows? But we are hoping to release the album towards late September, early October.
Yeah.
We want to have it out before we do Hollowed Out. And we
Definitely.
want to like sit down and listen to it and make sure we have the best song quality possible. and fix anything, add, change, whatever, to make it as best as we can.
Yeah. No, most definitely. And as far as like, I know like that's sort of like a short-term goal right now to get like everything moving, to like having like these releases and doing these shows too. But as far as like long-term goals, like what do you guys see yourself within like 3 to 5 years for those long-term goals?
World domination.
Well, musically, I want after this album, I still have like plenty. I have like an album already written, fingers crossed. But I want to release like a happier, more poppy sounding beach record versus this, which is more Skinwalker is gonna be more heavy punk based, and I want to do like a poppier one to see if we can make a pop record. But we just want to have fun, play some shows, make some noise, make some friends, go on tour. You know, eat as much Taco Bell as we can.
Yeah. Yeah.
For sure.
Sure.
Yeah. I don't know about this, but have you ever had like these like weird like talk about like experiences where like they have like that most like stereotyped thing where you're sitting in the bathroom for like 2 hours and all that? I don't know if that's like still
Personally,
like a myth.
personally, it doesn't affect me like that.
No, not anymore.
So
I used to, but not.
I did throw up in a Taco Bell one time, and after I was done throwing up, I went back and finished my food. Like nothing happened.
Disgusting.
But to be fair, whoever made that quesadilla deserves a raise because it was a good quesadilla.
Yeah, nah, like I know for me, like I've had like Taco Bell like so many times where like nothing really has happened to me, and I think everything about that is like a total myth, like that you get like diarrhea or you get like these like weird motions and all that. So it's
I
like,
guess I guess it depends on like who's cooking the food.
uh, but we could see the same thing too about like Arby's and all that. Like you don't even
Yeah.
know like what's in like the horseradish sauce and all that. So it could be like you know you know what I mean.
Yeah, who knows, But sometimes lives exist for a reason.
Yeah, exactly. Do you guys have any like final remarks that you want to share? Do you want to share like all your socials, personal and for the band and all that too?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Add me at Carter C20. My name Carter, the letter C20 at Instagram, and I post content there. So feel free to follow.
Uh, Feel free to follow, add, whatever American Death Cult on Twitter and Instagram. We have a Facebook, but we don't touch it. Um, it's AMER Death Cult on Twitter, and I think it's. Let me check real quick, just so I get all my ducks in a row. I don't make a fool of myself on camera. Yeah, it's just American Death Cult band on Instagram.
All right.
And you can find me Demarion_Tyler on Instagram.
All right. That's good then. So this is Josh, also known as Yashu, and this is episode 16 of TLOY Talks. You could definitely check it out on all streaming platforms, like when it's released in that sense too. You could follow like everyone in the band too, everyone in the band from American Death Cult to Demarion and Carter as well too. And yeah, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe and all that. A very dope episode, by the way, too. Like if you check it out, like it'll be like one for the books in that sense too. And this is Josh, also known as Yashu, signing off.